am more than breast cancer.
I am more than gastric cancer.
I am more than Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 3.
I am more than Lynch syndrome.
I am more than metastatic male breast cancer.
I'm more than PMDD.
I am more than diabetes.
I am more than lupus.
I am more than FAP.
Welcome to More Than a Diagnosis. I'm Den.
And I'm Jess. This podcast is about so much more than cancer, chronic illness, or the labels we've been given. It's about reclaiming our lives, finding community, and thriving in ways we never thought possible.
Whether you're a patient, a caregiver, or just someone curious about what it means to live beyond a diagnosis, we're so glad you're here.
Today feels like one of those full circle moments. If you've been a part of this community, whether on TikTok or here on the podcast or on our website and our support circle, then you know it's always had a life of its own, bigger than any one story, diagnosis, or experience. What started as conversations just into our phones has grown into such an amazing community, and it has been what has brought us here.
We've been quietly working behind the scenes building a nonprofit, and while we're still waiting for our 501c3 approval, we wanted you to hear it from us first.
We hope that by the time that you're listening to this, we have our 501c3 approval. This is just a big moment that is honestly bigger than just me and Den. We wanted the people who have been helping shape this nonprofit from the start to join us today. So today we have Narissa, who you've heard here on the podcast before, who leads Happy Mail. And for the very first time on the pod, we have Karen. They're a part of this board and a part of the heart of this community.
This feels like a moment we've just been waiting to share.
Absolutely. So before we dive into what we're building and what's coming next, let's do some introductions. Den, you want to kick it off with what landed you here and what this community has meant for you?
Absolutely. So what's funny about me is, I guess you'd never know, but I was a very, very private person. And, you know, I was a, what do we call it? A silent watcher. And so, you know, eventually I just got this itch and said, you know, what happens if I post a video? I had this rare genetic condition and I didn't know anyone else who had that condition. So I felt lonely and said, I want to find other people who have FAP. And I came to you, Jess, and then I'm like, hey.
I had to pick up my jaw off the floor first and be like, wait, what? You want to post? Are you serious right now?
Totally. So we did it. I threw myself out there and the rest is history. And I
here we
haven't
are.
looked back. Been posting ever since.
Absolutely.
And community, wow, I can't say enough. I didn't think I'd meet very many people, but so many people who have a FAP or a, you know, genetic condition have reached out, and it's just been nice talking to others who just get it. And it's not just those who have FAP or some rare genetic disorder, but, you know, I feel we all have our own story on how we got to TikTok and how we became what we are now.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I love that. Narissa, you are a familiar name to our listeners, but this is the first time that we actually get to officially introduce you as a part of our team for the nonprofit. Can you share how you came into this community and kind of what pulled you in?
Well, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you.
So I joined the community back in 2022 when I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. That's when my world was turned upside down, and I figured I would document not only for myself, but to maybe help one or two people. And in turn, I found an entire community of people who just get it. Mm-hmm. And one of those people happened to be our friend Jess. And I was scrolling and I was like, wait, who is this chick? She's a whole vibe. And then I was like, wait, oh my God, she's got triple negative breast cancer too. Yep. And I latched onto her and she can't get rid of me. But because of all of this, I have found some amazing connections of people who just get it. And it's what community is all about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Karen, you're the newest voice on the pod, but not new to us and not really new to our community either. Can you tell everyone how our paths crossed and what made you say yes to stepping into this work with us?
So I was looking for people, desperately younger people that had breast cancer when I first got diagnosed. And I was first on like different platforms, and then I landed on TikTok. And then I came across Jess, and I thought she was interesting, but we have different breast cancer diagnoses. I followed her, but I was still looking for people with because I was still trying to understand. But we quickly connected, and we really connected in a really good way that I was like, oh, I like her. I was like, she's cool. And eventually we were just interacting with each other on TikTok, and she invited me to a live where Den was the mod.
Yeah.
And I knew at this point that you guys were best friends because it was around the time that Den started coming around. So I started following you, and we started interacting on TikTok. And then after that live, you then created a group chat because she was modding, and I said a joke because I didn't know how to say. I still can't say it.
Steroids.
And I said asteroids instead of steroids.
Oh, that's because we were doing the live in Spanish.
Spanish.
Yes, it was the bilingual live.
Yeah, because my first language it's Spanish. So that's why we connected, because you were like, I would like to do something in Spanish.
That's right.
And I couldn't translate steroids. I said asteroids. And then and then created a group message. And we started connecting. Like, it was just initially for that joke where she was saying it was so funny, but we ended up just kind of talking all of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's around the time that I also was like interacting more with Narissa, like on TikTok. And I feel like it's not even that I said yes to this, what we're building, but it's more of like it happened. Like, we just connected on a very deep level that we did not plan for. It was very organic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to add to, I feel like, Karen, because you have stage 4 breast cancer, that you bring something to the community in the way that you present your life and the way that you show up, because it's so authentic. And I think a lot of people who are not familiar with the cancer experience don't really understand what it means to be stage 4. And so, we just really appreciate the way that you have shared the experience of being stage 4.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been a huge part of it, because I honestly don't think that I would have taken my diagnosis the way that I have without community.
Yeah.
Because having you guys as support through all of this, and not just you guys, it's like a huge community.
Yeah, it's the whole community.
I have connected with so many people who have become friends, who I check in on them. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
It really is.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about how this nonprofit actually came to be. Because, it wasn't, if we look back, it really wasn't a single moment.
No.
It was a very slow build. And honestly, I feel the community was a really big part in telling us what we needed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Narissa started Happy Mail, which has been a huge thing that has pulled our community together. I also host weekly TikTok lives, and I've been doing that now for almost 2 years. Wow. I think it's been 2 years since I started hosting lives on Tuesday on TikTok that serve as a support group space. And so it's just kind of been this natural progression, because then we started the podcast and then we built a website, not just for the podcast, but for the community. And it just made sense to ask Narissa if she wanted to host Happy Mail on the website, because Narissa, you didn't have a website.
No, Narissa is not tech savvy. Narissa's good with her hands, but when it comes to, electronics, I just push buttons and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So, as Happy Mail continued to grow, it just made sense to, accept help from friends, which is difficult because I'm very much an independent woman. I would like to do it the hard way, but to do it myself. But our friend Jess is like a tech guru and has blown me away with her savviness. And so she created a Google form that people from the community could request Happy Mail for themselves or somebody else, which made things so much easier for both me and the people in the community requesting. And it's just kind of snowballed from there. As Happy Mail grew, it made sense to join forces.
Absolutely.
Move
So
it to
for
the
people
website.
who don't, maybe this is their first time coming across our podcast, or they're new to what we're doing here and maybe haven't heard of Happy Mail before, would you mind just quickly sharing a little bit about what Happy Mail is?
Happy Mail is a little bag of happy that I send out to cancer and chronic illness friends. And this can be for yourself, or you can request it for somebody else. But it's just a little bag of small things that are very heartfelt, that are to make people feel less alone and seen.
Yeah.
Because it is very lonely and isolating when you get a diagnosis like this. And a lot of the care packages out there that I personally received are for breast cancer patients, which there is definitely a need for. But I saw and heard the frustrations of those in the community that had, ovarian or colon or a chronic illness. There's no care packages for them.
Yeah.
And they deserve to feel seen and loved and cared for. So
Absolutely.
Happy Mail was born, and it has continued to expand and grow and be supported by our community. So
Yes.
it must mean we're doing something right.
I love that so much. I think one of my most favorite things about Happy Mail, not only is it free, which I love that, but I love that you have been committed to the inclusivity, not just for all cancers, but also for folks who live with chronic illness. And I think that that's one of the things that we've decided in our community, is that we include people who live with chronic illness, because not only does Den live with chronic illness, I live with chronic illness after going through cancer treatments. And like, you have diabetes before you got diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah. And then now I have chronic fatigue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Karen being stage 4, that's considered a chronic illness.
It is chronic if you think about it. I will live for it for the rest of my life, for as long as I live. And I find myself really like connecting with people that have chronic illnesses because I have those days where I have what you could consider like a flare up.
Yes.
And it's not like, I guess technically it is a flare up.
Yeah, absolutely it
I'm
is.
like having a really bad day of side effects where I just need to lay down all day. So I find myself connecting a lot with people that have chronic illness.
Yeah.
And getting tips from them, like from the community. Like,
Oh, I've learned
Yeah.
so much from our friends who live with chronic illness. And I think, a catalyst for including chronic illness in our community was really the connection that Den and I have. Because for me, when I was going through active cancer treatments and Den and I had reconnected and she was sharing things in her life that she was going through, I saw so many similarities.
Yeah, and while they weren't exactly the same symptoms, but very, very similar. We can get into it. I won't bore you guys with all the nitty-gritty details, but let's just say a lot of similarities, which we never really thought about until we started sharing what we were each feeling. We found, wow, oh, you too?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, wait, my issues are, my digestion and my intestines. And like,
But
wow,
then I have those
the
same
side
issues.
effects,
Yeah.
So we found this common ground, commonality. And I feel like a child was born. like this baby, like, oh, like, cancer
Yes.
and chronic illness.
I'm not gonna forget that you taught me to smell alcohol for nausea, because all during the time that we were talking about the asteroids, I was like, oh, something came up about the nausea, and you were like, you can smell alcohol, and I was like, oh, really? And you were like, when I feel really sick, and then I'm like, that's how organic it was, because I was like, wait, why do you have nausea? And then you started like telling me, and then you just started sharing, and then eventually Narissa came, and then that's how it kind of organically just happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you remember the very first time that we talked about the podcast and said, this is way bigger than just a podcast?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like we were just talking about this last night. I feel like when I was going through active cancer treatments and I started making TikToks, I would always tell you, I don't know what's going to come from this, but I really feel that something is going to come from this. We didn't set out to start a nonprofit. We didn't set out to build a community. You didn't set out to start Happy Mail. You weren't like, oh, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. Now I want to like send out packages, which that's
For the rest of my life.
Yeah, exactly. You were like, oh, I'm just going to be nice to my friends and like send them something. And then that has turned into literally a movement.
Yeah.
And a community has formed. And so it's more like we have such amazing, supportive community. And we look forward to being with each other virtually every Tuesday. We have the people who look out for each other. When we post, we're checking in on each other and in each other's comments. And it just felt like the natural next step to take what has been organically growing and to give it a container to live in, essentially.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like we've all individually and obviously collectively have looked at our community and our shared experiences. I feel is what is driving. What does this community need? Each of us have had so many different experiences where we've said, wow, we shouldn't be going through this. Imagine others. Imagine others. And then we hear stories from others in the community and we're like, wow, that happened to you?
Yes.
Like, this isn't okay. And I feel like all of these experiences are what has, created this drive in each of us, I think.
Absolutely. I would love it if you guys would be willing to share kind of for your own selves where the shift or where you felt the shift happen from just sharing your stories to wanting to support other people and to want to be immersed in the community. Because let's be real, not everyone who goes through a major diagnosis wants to stay connected to the cancer community. Obviously, folks who have chronic illness, there is no over, right? This is something that you live with for the rest of your life. For instance, like Narissa, you have diabetes. That's just something that you have to manage. You don't get to just get over that. But with cancer, if you have stage 1 through 3, oftentimes that's curable. And so you can go through treatment, you can share your story, you can put it out there for people to see, but then when it's over, you kind of want to distance yourself. And I respect that. But for some of us, we have stayed immersed in the community. So was there something that made you feel the shift from I'm just sharing my story to I want to be here to continue to support the community?
So for me, I feel like when I started posting, I was going through the hardest time in my life. And at this point, I journaled and everything. I had been in therapy. So I understood that I needed a creative outlet for myself because at this point I knew that about myself. So I started posting it as like screaming into the void. When I got diagnosed, I started getting a lot of questions about how did you know? And I kept hearing it so much and I could see the fear in people. Like for in my particular experience, it was women that were like, oh my God, you're so young. How did you find it? Because they see themselves in me. Because of how we grew up, whatever, my family and stuff. And it was happening so much that I decided to record it on TikTok. At this point, I made like makeup content.
Yeah.
So I posted it and I didn't think much of it. I was used to like 100 views. I posted it. I went to bed. I woke up like to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and it was at 5,000 views. And I was like, whoa. But I was like, that's weird. And I went to bed and I woke up and it was like at 20,000.
Wow.
And the comments were insane. I cannot believe how many people are experiencing the same things I am. Not only that, but about the fact like I didn't know how to look for the symptoms. So people wanted to know. So I realized that this is not going to stop. And at this point, I didn't know I was stage 4.
Yeah. It was really early on for you then.
It was
that you knew
from
that
the beginning.
You wanted to
and I felt
help.
the same as you because I felt like something has to come from this. I don't know what it is yet, but my soul tells me that I need to keep posting. And I still, till this day, I'm not even going to lie, as far as my content, I'm still figuring it out because I realize how much bigger than myself it is. It's not about me. It's about sharing my experiences, but also connecting people. And that's where community came in.
I love that. I love that for you. It was really early on going from just sharing your story to like really wanting to support people.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah, very similar for me. I had never really done videos before, very introverted, very private. And yeah, I started posting videos on other platforms and then found TikTok and found my people. And that was honestly originally my plan, just get through cancer treatment and then I would probably never post a video again. And then as I started going through my own chemo and stuff, the early part of my cancer journey, I realized that the people ahead of me did that same thing. They had closed that chapter and they were getting back to quote unquote normal and getting back to life. And they kind of ghosted, which I understand and I'm happy for them. But I'm so grateful for the people who stuck around after their cancer treatment to hold the hands of others behind them.
Yes.
Like that made such a huge difference for me. And, I've said it before, but I've learned more from the community than I have my own cancer team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we have lived experience and tips and tricks that we can share that the doctors may not think of or they don't know of or they don't have time to share. So it's just another reason that community and the people in it are so important and valuable. Yeah. And cancer sucks, but it's brought some amazing people into my life.
I love that so much. And I think that that's something that resonates so deeply with me because, it's been 3 years since I found the mass in my breast and that I started on this journey. But it's been 2 years since I've been done with active cancer treatments and my life is not back to normal and it will never be back to normal. And that's okay. I've accepted that. I don't say that to scare anyone who maybe is going through active treatment right now. But unfortunately, my body has been left with chronic illness and chronic health issues after going through active cancer treatments. And so for me, it's always been about, like you said, like continuing to share because I genuinely feel that there are more people who are going through this silent battle post-cancer treatments and are expected to just be grateful. And I feel like as a community, we're able to come together and support people who have already finished their cancer treatments because there's really no place for us to land.
No.
There's a lot of organizations that help folks while they're going through treatment. But once you're done, we've talked about, I think, Narissa, you've shared this before. You feel like a baby bird being kicked out of the nest.
Yeah.
You know?
Fly or fall.
Yes,
Have a nice life.
And so nice knowing you. We helped you.
All right.
We helped you get rid of your cancer. Like, see you later.
Yeah, you're all good now.
Good luck processing all that.
Yes,
Go out and
exactly.
live.
Yes. But this gives us an opportunity to not only support people who are actively going through treatment, support people who are living with cancer and chronic illness, but to continue to support people who are trying to put the pieces back together.
Exactly.
Absolutely. In my case, yes, I'm the chronic illness girly, but there's also that rare genetic condition component, which, adds a little twist because, yes, I came to the realization that I have chronic illness, but as long as I'm alive, I'm stuck with that rare genetic disorder.
Yeah.
So that added an extra, okay, are there others who are stuck with something else lifelong? Because we need to stick together because this is not going anywhere. So let's, figure out what life looks like together.
Well, I call myself a lifer.
Yes. And I feel like, see, and that's what's cool. I mean, not cool, but the fact, like, if I have to deal with this, like, it's something, it's beautiful because I can completely relate to you because you're a lifer.
Yes.
And while it's not what I have cancer cells, but it's something we're stuck with as long as we live. So it's actually, it's nice. It makes me feel less lonely.
And it's multi-layered because it's the physical, it's the mental, the emotional. It is all of it.
Yeah.
Like, it can be a lot for people that are not familiar or that haven't experienced it themselves to dump on because it can start feeling really quick like it's all about you.
Yes.
And because it is cancer or a major chronic illness, people feel like, well, mine is not that bad, so I'm not going to complain to you.
Yeah.
And then it feels weird.
Yeah.
But we don't get that.
No.
Because we're all like, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's you, and sometimes it's all
it's all of us at the same time.
I also want to add that the load is not as heavy if you have other people.
Yes.
So true.
Yes.
It's so important and so beautiful.
Yes. I mean, I can't say how many times after a Tuesday support group live that I've gotten messages from people who are like, I really didn't know how much I needed that. Just like
That right
connecting
there.
with other people and hearing that they're not alone in these experiences because it can feel so isolating. Yeah, it's isolating going through cancer treatments, but then living with the aftermath of it sometimes I think is even more isolating. And so I'm so proud of how far we've come as a community because it's not one person. It's not just one of us having this idea. It really has been the community driving us to continue to create these containers to hold space in whatever situation that you're experiencing. We said this at the beginning, but it's been so organic of how this has all formed and how it's continuing to form. And like we said, we're still waiting on the official approval from the IRS, but we've done so many things behind the scenes to really lay the foundation. And I'm so excited about the things that are to come. Is there anything that you're the most excited about for what is to come with the nonprofit?
I feel like I've really been enjoying this stage because, like you said, we're building the foundation. And in a way, it's selfish because I feel so good doing this, but I know it feels good to me and it's gonna feel good to others. And I feel like that makes me like, very like, I'm like, I can't wait. Can we talk about, for example, makeup stuff and all that stuff? Okay.
Ooh, yes.
Because, for example, I come from a makeup background and a sales background, and I am so excited that I get to put those connections into use and try and get stuff for the community. Try and get like makeup or, things that you might need, because we're also not just women. There's also men and there's also everyone that has a chronic illness. We want to be inviting to all of those people, and I'm passionate about, which is one of the reasons I feel like Jess and I connected. I feel like we could tell that we're both very inclusive people. And And I love that.
Yeah.
That makes me excited.
I'm so excited. And I'm so excited to like know somebody who has connections to the like beauty and healthcare industry, because I think that that's so cool. And I'm so excited to see how that partners with what we do for our community, but then how that will affect Happy Mail and the things that Narissa can offer to people in Happy Mail. It's just so exciting.
Seriously. And it's an honor to be able to like contribute to Happy Mail in that way, which is going to take time.
Yes.
And it's going to take time. That's not going to be like
It's
we
not
are saying
overnight.
like, come over, now we have all these things.
Yes.
But know that on my end, like I am going to be working really hard behind the scenes on getting stuff for the community.
I love that.
Yeah, and that makes my heart really happy.
I love that.
You're gonna make me cry, friend.
What about you? Is there anything that you're excited about what's to come?
Honestly, I think just we've got so many big visions, and it's really hard not to get super excited about like what's to come. But I can't give too much away, so I'm trying not to. I'm trying to watch my words because I don't want to give away too much.
It's hard.
But there's so many programs, so many different ways we plan to help the community and just connect. It's all about connections.
Yeah.
I feel community. Wow, like what are we without community? Bottom line.
I think that's what drove it too.
Yes.
Because community made such an impact, like on
For each
all
of us.
our
Absolutely.
journeys that we are like. It's like when you have something so good you can't keep it quiet.
Yes.
And you want to go and shake people and be like, "Have you heard about this?"
Yes.
I'm like, "Have you heard about community?"
Narissa, is there anything that you're...
Well, I wanted to say that like that's another thing that we have in common is that it's not about us. It's not about you or me. It's about us as a community. Like we don't post for our own personal gain. We always post to try to help somebody else.
Yes, absolutely.
And even if we're asking a question like, hey, I've got this side effect or problem, if somebody answers in the comments from the community, somebody else might see that and be able to take from it. And so I think just in general, you know, the four of us for sure, it's all about the greater good.
Yeah.
It's not just about us.
But before we finish, I definitely need to give you a shout out because this baby of ours, we all know this started brewing inside your heart, and it just so happens you shared your vision with us and we are all on the same page. But honestly, like we all know, if you wouldn't have gotten cancer and ended up on TikTok and really wanted to pour yourself out to the community and just give back, even though you yourself were going through it, friend, I can't thank you enough. And I'm pretty sure everyone in the community feels the same way about you.
You guys, it's not up front. It's not up front, you guys. She breathes, eats, and sleeps.
Yes.
This community. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know Den because of Jess. And I know Karen because of Jess.
Same. She was a bridge.
Yeah.
And I gotta give it to you too. We were talking about this. You are so good at putting people together and bringing people together. Like you just have a gift. And like we each have different gifts. Just there's so many people in the community with gifts that I'm so excited to start, you know, working with more people.
Absolutely.
And, this is literally just the beginning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are just getting started. And of course, thank you guys for the nice words. You guys know that I absolutely hate that.
Which is why I did it.
she's like,
because I need to make sure this gets out there.
Because for me, the heart of everything that I do is with community in mind. And community is so important to me. I mean, I literally, because I don't sleep much.
Yeah.
And I'm literally up at 2:00 in the morning, like, my phone.
You eat, breathe, and sleep this.
I do.
Yeah. So I'm glad Den put in a little shout out because I wanted to. But
I was like,
she's just going to edit it out.
Don't do
So
that.
Thank you.
And she
I won't.
No,
I
she
won't.
better not.
I won't.
I'll find her.
I
will
won't.
re-edit it.
I won't do that. But it's because I've told you guys this since we met.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not the Jess
it's not
show.
the Jess show.
But without Jess, we
There's no
wouldn't be
show.
sitting here. Yeah, yeah, really. I mean, no cringe, but we wouldn't be sitting here.
But I also wouldn't be doing this without you guys.
Yeah.
I can't do all of this by myself. I mean, I could, but that's not what I want. Because it takes a village to like create something. And I was sharing with you guys the other day that every different chapter of my life has always been centered around some type of community. Back in the day, my partner and I got wrapped up in a multi-level marketing business, and
We need a story.
that's a story for
right?
another day. That's a story for another day. But for me, it was all about community. And then, I gave birth to my daughters, and I chose to homeschool them, and I had my homeschooling community. And every step in my life there's been community involvement. And so it was just natural for me to seek community when I got diagnosed with cancer. And what has grown from that has been more than I could have ever imagined when I did get diagnosed. And I just feel so blessed to not only have the three of you in my life, but to have our whole community together, because each and every person who I have been able to interact with has touched my heart in a way that I can't even put into words, because I think about everyone in our community. And your stories all touch me, and I'm so excited to continue to grow what we've started here and to be able to involve more people who are in our community who have been like fixtures in our community, essentially.
Yeah.
They show up for every live. They're always in each other's comments. They're supporting each other. And it is this beautiful thing that I see evolving, that it is not about me. It is about community. And so I'm just so excited to continue to share more with our community. I'm so excited for you guys to be on this journey with us. And we're so excited to start being able to take donations once our 501c3 is official, and to start having people volunteer. And we just have so many exciting things planned.
That's it for today's episode. Just a little behind the scenes, a little heart, and a whole lot of gratitude. Thank you so much for being the reason that we get to build this. We'll keep you posted as the nonprofit process moves forward, and we can't wait to bring you along for the next chapter.
We love you all. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on More Than a Diagnosis. We hope today's conversation left you feeling seen, heard, and maybe even a little more connected.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need it.
And if you're looking for a place to connect with others who truly get it, join our support circle at morethanadiagnosis.org, where we will continue this conversation. It's free, it's welcoming, and it's built for you.
Because no one should have to navigate this alone.
Until next time,
Keep living, keep growing, and remember,
you are more than a diagnosis.